fact, everyday struggle. I'm Nadeska, it's Akademiks. Wayno, what's going on, you guys?
What's up? What's
Man,
good?
Akademiks spends 1 weekend hanging out with 50 in the
He was
club,
in these streets.
and now he's trying to cop a chain first thing Monday morning.
Trying to get a chain.
It's good, Akademiks.
Nadeska, you just gonna reshape the narrative?
We never. You mean what you do to me every fucking day? Yeah.
You are a millionaire. That's a fact. That's 100% fact. Look her up on Google.
How was your weekend, bro?
They gotta update your net worth. Huh? My weekend was kind of decent. Went out for a little bit. It was a good time. It was a good time. Enjoyable experience. I'm learning a lot.
What the fuck did you learn?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
I learned why everybody in the fucking club be having like white shirts on, especially when there's a million pictures being taken. I had all type of sweat stains and shit. Like, anyway, I was in the club with 50 and 6ix9ine, and it was the safest place on earth. I loved it.
The safest place on earth. You know, 50 doesn't play
At all.
Is there collab really coming? Actually, let's talk about that at the end of the show. We got to get to Astroworld. So big weekend, 3 big album releases. Of course, Travis Scott dropped Astroworld, already on its way to #1 on the Billboard 200. He's gonna move an estimated 300 to 400,000 first week. Is pretty good. So look. Solid album, but of course Akademiks had the Twitch live stream.
Oh.
Once he got to Sicko Mode, shit got a little bit. No, don't even say anything. Don't even say nothing. Let's just please roll this video.
Track 3. This track is called Sicko Mode. Track 3. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait. What?
Sun is down, freezing cold. That's how we already.
Is it ever this serious?
It's very much that serious.
You were really that hyped for the Drake feature?
Yes. You didn't tell us before. Yes. Yo, listen, let me tell you this. If you've never listened to me while I'm streaming, I only stream albums I'm really anticipating and I really care for. And besides all the stuff that people say about me, which might be true, Akademiks love the fuckery, like he loves the gossip and all that. I do love music. Right? And when I'm enjoying an album that I've been waiting to hear for so long, and I'm only on track 3, and all of a sudden, Orbs come in my little headphones.
Orbs.
Orbs, what's, you know?
All right, so first let's listen to Stargazing. So this is the first song on the album. The very first thing we hear, and then I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay.
You want to clown him first?
I got something I want to ask him.
Okay.
This guy.
let's play the clip, and then Wayno will get his question off.
Keep on calling up, it's getting hectic. Like we projected. So we cut the plug, it's interjected. Got me going crazy. Rolling, got me stargazing.
All right, Wayno, what you got?
I just want to know, like, why does Drake's voice have so much command over your body? Because we didn't play the whole clip.
Why you said it like that?
You jumped up out the seat, you tooted your ass up into the air. Like,
I
what
didn't
was
do that. I was jumping on the chair.
No, what's going on? Pause that video because we didn't play the whole shit, but
you got loose
Drake
hips?
does something to you, man.
Wayno,
Drake does
I
something
see the narrative you're trying to go with. Let me just say this, okay? The same way how you would probably react if you would listen to a Pusha T song and Jay-Z randomly came out of the blue. Yes, I'm sorry.
And then Nipsey
you know what
dropped
happens?
a verse on top.
I'm enjoying it, by the way.
Control it, so. Right, go ahead.
Yeah, I was super excited because you know what?
What?
As soon as I heard it, I said, classic incoming. And the song was
Oh my God! Here,
fire.
okay, let's cut it out with the classic. You're about to piss Wayno off already.
As soon as Drake said Astro, I said,
All right, cut it out.
The fuck
All
out
right,
of
man.
here, man.
First thoughts on
He's out of
Astroworld.
control.
He is out of control. Thoughts on the album, Drake aside.
All right.
aside from that, and by the way, I wish they watch a whole stream because I did a lot of freaking out for other shit too, right? It wasn't just Drake's voice.
I'm sorry I didn't get you popping your ass. I should have gotten that part of the video.
Keep in mind, Travis Scott didn't really announce features, so I didn't know who was on what. However, I will say for me, this album delivered. We had this conversation prior to its release, and it was about our expectations, what we thought it was going to be, and what he needed to accomplish. And I said this was going to be the next step for him. And again, I hate to have to rely on sales to kind of prove that point, but you can see how many people are consuming it by the sales.
Yep.
Look at his other first weeks. Like, this is going to be his biggest one. And quality-wise, I feel like it did what it needed to do. I'm not saying it's a classic, but it's a really good album. And my whole thing was he needed to have those hits. Those hits are on this album.
How many hits are on this album, do you think?
I think like 3 or 4.
That's pretty good. And so look, if we're talking about past numbers, so you're at, this one is going to do close to 400K. Rodeo did about 90,000, and Birds in the Trap about 88K first week. So that's a huge leap for him in terms of the conversation we were having about where this album puts him in terms of his place in the game.
I think that they should eliminate the whole pure sales thing because it's kind of like a backhanded compliment. You know what I mean? It's like, you did well, but this is what people actually downloaded.
Right.
It's all one thing. So I think they gotta eliminate that. But I felt like the album delivered. On Sicko Mode, I ain't gonna front. I was tight. The reason why I was tight on Sicko Mode is because they ended the beginning of that shit. I was upset, like,
Okay.
because me and my son was riding, we was listening to it, and I was like, oh
Did
shit.
your son freak out?
Nah, he didn't freak
Not
out.
like you.
He did not freak out. But when they cut it, we just was like, oh shit, like what happened? You know, but that aside, this album did deliver for me. I was happy with it. I feel like it's another level in Travis's career. Are we gonna get into? Because I got something I want to say about what Drake said on Sicko Mode.
Yeah.
All right. So what Drake said on Sicko Mode, he kind of confirmed that his Adidas deal is done. On that, he said, "Checks over stripes. That's what I like." You know what I mean? Like, and you see him not wearing Adidas at all anymore.
So the rollout's not coming.
Yeah, it's over for that.
So, well, I mean, that's a whole different conversation.
Right.
Push a lie.
Huh?
Did Push a lie because the whole story of Adidon was supposedly based on the premise that Drake was about to side to Adidas,
But it
and
was probably in the works, and maybe the deal fell through because all the publicity.
I don't think he lied, only because right around the time, and this is, I'm a sneaker guy, around the time when the last like 2 OVO Jordans had dropped, he was already wearing Adidas. So you wouldn't be wearing Adidas around the same time. But I don't want to emphasize too much on a couple months ago. We all know how that went. But
what do you guys think this fits into discography? So Travis actually told Zane Lowe that this should have been his second project. So he said if you locked into Rodeo, you definitely locked into Astroworld. I'm finishing the saga I started on my first album. This was supposed to be the second one. So it's like he dropped them out of order. Do you feel like this would have fit nicely there?
going off, and also I'm gonna answer your question, but going off what Wayno said about Sicko Mode, what I noticed about this album, I know it says, what is it, 17 tracks? This shit is definitely like 25 tracks. There's a bunch of 30-second songs in this.
Oh, you mean how they compile them?
Yeah, like, there's like, for the most part,
like Sicko Mode is 3 songs in one.
Yeah, you're getting 3 songs in one. If you look at it, one of the memorable parts is, like, for example, Sicko Mode is, of course, Drake, Take Keith, and like that part, and Travis comes in. Mm-hmm. But there's like 2 other producers who produce different parts of the song. So it's kind of what we saw. And, you know, even though we do kill this guy because he's not the favorite at the moment, Kanye, that's what Kanye did with Yeezus. Like, he was just putting a bunch of styles, a bunch of genres, and a bunch of things into one song. And we see it, like, manifest, like, and done great.
Mm-hmm. It's cohesive in this body
exactly.
of work. Okay.
So I think that was great. What else did I take? That Can't Say track is fucking fire. All right? And as far as him saying it was supposed to be his second album, I don't buy that at all. I think it's because he knew he got some backlash from his last project where people kept mentioning rodeo, and clearly this is probably the best effort to match that. But I don't believe that this is gonna be like, nah, fuck out of here.
Yeah, we was talking earlier, like we was talking earlier about just physicals and stuff, and it's like the artwork makes me wish I opened up something so I could read all this, because that's the only thing that I don't like sometimes, even with Travis, because he did on his last drink, he didn't list the features. So you gotta listen to hear who's on what, but sometimes reading it kind of gives you a little bit more of the anticipation. But I see that he got like Wonder Girl on a few joints. It's good to see her like doing tracks again. The Skeletons is one of my favorites. Houston Fornication is my favorite joint, and Coffee Bean, the last 2 on there.
While this has a lot of great tracks that I like, I loved it when Travis was Travis on this album. There were joints that he wasn't. That the Take Keith thing. Listen, we all want to Take Keith. At least I do. I want to Take Keith and Drake like mixtape. They fit great on each other's, or Drake fits great on his beats. But that's a pocket Drake enjoys. I don't think that's really a Travis thing. Also, like this Yosemite song, which I do like. Man, that's a Gunna.
That's Yosemite. Yosemite Sam, man.
Yeah, whatever, man. However, that's Sold Out Days remade. Okay, 100% Sold Out Days remade. Of course, produced by Turbo. You got Gunna on it. That didn't feel. It felt more at home for Gunna more than it did for Travis Scott. So when I listened to those records, I was like, that's cool, but Travis sounds like a feature on his
And
own
it's interesting
song.
that never happens. Usually it's opposite. If
Exactly.
Travis is a feature on your song, his sound always takes over. So like Stargazing, I feel like the album start, I'm like, this sounds 150% like Travis.
Yeah.
And then you get to some of those songs where you're like, I'm not really sure it's not really him.
Exactly. And you know what I mean? I do like when artists kind of collaborate with like either the hot acts or the hot sound now, but you know, Travis has been so dominant with like his sound being the driving force behind so much of what music is. I wanted a little bit more of him, but the songs that wasn't like completely his sound, it still sound great.
Yo,
You get me?
He sampled an old school classic on this album too, on 5% Tent. Goody Mob's Who's That Peeking in My Window. That was dope. I really loved that one. And the Rest in Peace Screw. Rest in Peace Screw is hard too. I mean, overall, it's what I expected from Travis, right? And like I was saying before, now, I mean, we still got to give it time, right? Real quick, we still got to give it time, but does this put him in that conversation now?
100%. 100%. I think the only question left for this is, how will it stack up against his other projects 6 months from now, a year from now, right? But in terms of this making him like that top 5, and again, we're talking about top 5 and more than just lyrical ability, just this top 5 hip-hop musicians, he's absolutely in it. This was what cemented the fact that he's in that group. And I mean, it's well-deserved. It's like the coming of age album, like for example, Culture 2 for Migos. We knew they were affecting culture for so long. Once that album dropped, they got everything around it, that big hit. Grammy nominations, all that. That was it.
Yeah.
This is it for Travis Scott, and I'm very proud of him for it.
All right, dope. As always, I think we should digest a little bit more and talk about this again next week. It's always nice to like come back once you've had more time.
Shout out to Thundercat too. Nah, cause Thundercat, they don't like, a lot of people don't know who Thundercat is. They like a band type of group, but Thundercat makes amazing music, and they're on there with Frank Dukes, who's another producer that's killing. John Mayer on there as well. He put together a good project.
Where did he find Frank Ocean at? Because has anybody found that nigga recently?
Last spotted at Coachella. He's out here. And who said they just recorded a bunch of songs with him? Is it Cardi? I'm making that up.
Yeah, I think
somebody said they just recorded
Playboy
with him.
Cardi.
So he's around.
Is it Playboy?
He is to be found.
Maybe.
All right, so we'll talk some more about Travis. So YG also dropped Stay Dangerous this weekend. I know Wayno's really been looking forward to this project. Let's listen to a snippet of Can't Go to Canada.
Canada. Hit it from the back, pussy man it up. Tat it up. Can't none of my niggas getting Canada. No. Bet it up. Tell them it's a go, nigga, set it up. The buzz down,
I feel like you and YG could low-key be related.
Everybody
like
says
cousins or
that.
something. I just realized there's something very like similar about you. All right, Wayno, so what do you think?
Overall, I like YG's album. I like it. Me and Ak was having a conversation about like, in terms of listening to it a bit more to kind of figure out where it's gonna take him.
Yeah.
But I think it was like, it's a solid effort for him. It's not my favorite YG album, but it's not like, I don't think that YG produces anything that people could say it's not good. He's consistent as shit. Like from his last 3 albums, he's very consistent. Got a really dope feature on there with NBA YoungBoy. I think is that 666? I think that's 666, and then another one with Mozzie that killed his verse. I mean, I'm happy with the album. I'm gonna listen to it a bit more because you know things come out Friday. Albums used to come out on Tuesday. We had like all week to listen to it. Now it's Friday, so it's just going over it through the weekend. But
I was trying to go through that Mac Miller.
Yeah.
And the Travis. It was like hard going back and forth
Moneybag Yo
between all
dropped
them.
too.
Yeah,
Moneybag
it's
Yo
been a
dropped
lot.
too. But yeah, I'm satisfied with YG's album. Sure. Can't Go to Canada is my favorite record on it.
Yeah, big salute to YG for this project. The project sounded good. I'm not sold on it. Sounded good. The reason why is, and it might be more of me than him. A lot of like when I first really grew in love with YG's music, I felt like he was taking me on a very dangerous journey through California.
Dangerous Journey could be the next album name.
Seriously, and he was. I was being taken on that journey track by track, and he was painting very vivid images of things that went down in the life and the path that he chose. And we did get some of that here, but again, maybe it's me rather than him. It didn't feel the same. It didn't feel the same like when I first heard like, what's his first album?
My Crazy Life.
Crazy Life.
It didn't feel like that. And perhaps it's like we've seen a lot of some of these records I heard, even the Can't Go to Canada record, I started thinking about it in terms of a lot of changes we've seen with the style. With it looks like perhaps like somewhat of a maybe a rebranding, or at least like position himself to be a much cleaner cut version of what we've normally seen from YG. And I'm listening to the album and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting bits and pieces, but it don't feel the same. And again, it might be more of me, and that's why like I'm not too, at this moment, I'm not ready to say what this album will do for him and won't do for him. What I think is good, but I don't know if like this is a joint that's gonna live, because it's like sometimes you get these albums that are very cultural and it means a lot, and you could always go back to it. I'm not sure if this is it. So I gotta let it live.
Okay,
Give me a week or so. Give me a week or so.
Fair enough.
Well, yeah, I mean, and at the same time, you know, the YG that made my crazy life is not the YG we see today. That YG wasn't a father. That YG hadn't gotten shot at his personal studio. I think that, and when you look in things in terms of timeline, that's why he made Stay Dangerous, because he said that it was a term that they came up with instead of saying be safe, because of everything that's going on in LA. But I'm starting to get used to the you know, the church shoe YG. The loafers YG. It's a little bit different, but what I love about YG is that his energy is always consistent, no matter the sound of his project. Like, you still see him have that energy where he's dancing, he's still talking that street shit, but he's still true to himself either way, right? Like, even though he's dressing different, that motherfucker had on a whole outfit that was made out of $100 bill, like a print. And shoes, but he's
that's
still...
some like Lady Gaga shit,
but
man.
and that's why, but he's still Suwoop YG.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's still Suwoop YG. So, like you said, these albums came so quick and we gotta assess them so quick, so I'm gonna give it a little bit more time and then we could come back to it.
And you did mention something that also, that's what I'm saying, maybe it's more of me than him. Because one thing I do like, but again, I'll mention myself, but I do think hip hop as a whole, like, we're hypocrites at times. We're
all the time.
Very hypocritical. Sometimes we want change, sometimes we don't, right? And of course, growth is important for not only an artist, but as people, right? Like, of course, you can't be on My Crazy Life, YG, all the time. And he's growing because some of the shit he's talking about, he mentions, and he kind of, Nipsey does it well too. Of course, community empowerment, like empowering your own community, and also a little bit of politics, not too much, whatever. That's a little bit different than when I first heard him, right? And again, that might be me just not looking for that. Like, all right, that's cool, but where is this at? So again, I want to see how this lives, and how it feels maybe like after a week, after a month. But it's not whack.
Okay.
At all.
So let's let the album breathe. In the meantime, we can talk about Big Bank. So this YG track, Sean has a guest verse on it. It was featured on the Madden NFL 19 soundtrack. EA Sports decided to remove Colin Kaepernick's name from Sean's verse. Of course, people got really pissed off. Big Sean said it was disappointing and appalling. YG told TMZ that the CEO actually called him and apologized. He said they were going to do more than just apologizing. So they put his name back in the game, but he claimed this wasn't purposely done. Do we believe there's any chance that this was an accidental edit?
I don't think it was an accidental edit because, one of my producers has a record on the Madden game as well. But in terms of clearances, it's a lot of different things you have to clear. It's a lot of different things you can't say, can and cannot say. I don't think it was an EA Sports issue. I think it was an NFL issue. I think it's the NFL. It's not EA Sports. And because EA Sports has to pay for the NFL license to use their image and likeness to make product, right? So everything that they make, especially with the songs, has to be submitted and approved by probably a sync department at the NFL. So when they heard that, they probably was like, oh, nah, take his name out. But that just goes to show you that Colin Kaepernick and his journey, it hasn't been like held up because he's not a good player. They really just don't like him and they're not jacking him because he's shedding a lot of light on the bullshit that the NFL does. So I think that's an NFL call, and they're the hierarchy of the whole situation.
It makes sense, but it was just ridiculous for EA Sports to think they would just slide in the edit and no one would notice. That's so loose. Like, of course someone's gonna hear it and be pissed off. Of course.
Yeah, because how do you like censor a person's name like that? That goes to show you that the NFL hates Colin Kaepernick.
Money is power.
I don't think it's NFL at all. I think it's EA Sports being scared as a motherfucker to lose that partnership that has benefited them millions, if not billions, right? So they license a product, or through the players' union, and of course, other deals, they have the rights to put players' names, user likeness, all that type of shit, teams, right? However, when it comes to the soundtrack, and this is the only reason why I blame the NFL, they said their team misunderstood that they could use his name as a reference, but think about it, like Big Sean said his name.
It's corporate
Like, yo,
speak.
he's not, his face isn't in it, his name isn't there on the screen.
The name of the song is
It's a
Kaepernick.
song.
Right.
That's some soundtrack shit. I think that whoever is working in their soundtrack department scared shitless that the NFL, like, this what tells me the jig is up. Everybody, without saying it, knows the NFL don't like him.
Yeah.
So the business partners of the NFL are saying, we know they don't like him. Let's not piss them off by including his name.
But how about you not piss them off by putting this song on in the first place? And we want YG to have this look. That's not what
Right.
I'm trying to say. The point is, don't pick a song if they're mentioning this name and then try to edit it. Because then you're not only pissing off the NFL because you have to put it in, fans and people are going to be outraged too, and you lose
But
both
And
sides.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people got fired behind this. But from what I've heard, how they do soundtracks, they usually, and like I've seen how NBA, like 2K, do their soundtracks. They try to get these little curators that could pick tracks that kind of a little bit more cultural and also ahead of time, and also labels work with them too. Be like, hey, we're gonna give you
I
this
work with
music.
them on some stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna give you this music. We're gonna give you music beforehand that you could possibly see what it is. That was probably a misstep of theirs. If you had to edit it, don't even put it on it to
Yeah.
avoid the controversy. But, and again, I'm not blaming the NFL. I'm blaming EA for this because that apology was so sloppy. We get it. You only really apologize when you realize people might boycott. By the way, let's be clear. And Madden 19 or Madden in general, I do love Madden, but the franchise has not been experiencing its best years in a while.
That makes sense.
So they should have not done this, but that whole apology was just like fraudulent.
Yo, round of applause for just the hip hop community, because we really have the strength to do anything. Like, for something like this to happen and everybody to have an outrage, to make the head of EA Sports call YG to apologize.
Which might have also happened with Made in America, by the way.
Right, exactly. That just goes to show you where our power is at. Sometimes we just don't direct the power in the fucking
Most
right
times.
way. Most times we just don't direct the power in the right ways when it comes to like ownership and buyership and all of that. Because if we boycott something, or we say we're gonna boycott something, results happen. But people don't have that same energy on Black Friday. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, YG himself said that he's not boycotting. He's like, I have it in the car. I'm about to go play it right now. So
Yeah, I mean, his song's on the joint.
Yeah,
It's just,
it's like you
it's just like
can't-
free promo. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to, like, of course, you're going to denounce that move. My thing with all these apologies, right, is that an apology and a phone call means nothing if you don't really reach out, especially in a situation like that you see so many people were upset about it. Reach out to show that despite whatever the NFL got with them, again, you're a separate company. Despite whatever the NFL got with Colin Kaepernick, it was honestly a mistake, and you do fuck with him. A guy who is, I think he's graced the cover before. A guy who has been in your game and been one of the top players that people bought your game to play. Again, you can't put him in the game, clearly. But if you really want to show that it was an oversight, it was a mistake, fuck with him. Work with him. He got his own like charities and shit. How about you partner with him in some capacity to help what he got going on? Because again, what he got going on is not even like a conflict of interest in terms of going against the NFL. It's just him standing for something he believes for his community.
But see, that's the problem, because because that's what the narrative has been turned into. See, of course, we all know that the kneeling is not about disrespecting America. It's taking a stance for police brutality amongst African American, black people, whatever you would like to say. And when people do something to make a stand, it unsettles people, it ruffles feathers. And now when you have the president of the United States having his opinion on one man and what one man did to stand up for his people, that's what people are scared to stand next to. Like, of course, a lot of people would love to stand next to him and donate money to him, but they're not, because they don't want to ruin, like you said, they don't want to ruin those relationships with the NFL, because end of the day, it all boils down to some NFL shit. Right. And that's all it's going to be. It's going to be like, yo, if you rock with him, we don't rock with you. Especially because it's just his name, right? It's just his name. Imagine if they did like a challenge where they put Colin Kaepernick in the game. They would probably take the license from them, right?
Of course.
They would.
And yeah, they could, right? Of course, maybe not under the NFL banner, but Madden has had in the past where they feature other demo game modes, right? Which isn't licensed players, or it doesn't have the NFL banner on it. Yeah, they could fuck with it in certain ways like that. But I'm pretty sure the NFL, because of their dislike for Kaepernick, would probably say, no, if you put this nigga anywhere on the game, period, we're not fucking with you. I completely get that. Yeah. I'm just saying that this apology is
trash.
It reeks of insincerity. That's a word?
Insincerity.
Good.
Good job, Act. Yo, he's killing it out
Vocab
here.
act.
Anyway,
act vocals.
But not only that, right? It just says, hey, let me just protect my pockets and my wallet. Let me just shut everybody up, and if people just buy it, right? And even like the people who they called, again, with Big Sean and YG, it's a conflict of interest because their song is on the soundtrack. Right? We, of course, would not want them to retroactively say, hey, because y'all did that, we don't want our song, period, on there, because, of course, it helps them, right? But in terms of consumers, you're basically lying to the consumers with this apology. Yeah. And I just want consumers to be cognizant of that, because this apology is just to get you to buy the game.
Oh man, if corporations didn't lie, then what would be a corporation?
Exactly. Just always assume that what you're hearing is a lie, and then you'll be straight, right? Just do a little more research.
Sports is the real Illuminati anyway.
They're always lying to you.
Right.
All right, so last week we talked about Lyor Cohen's interview on The Breakfast Club. He spoke about a lot of things, but not really Dame Dash. Every time they asked him about Dame Dash, he essentially said, who's that? You know, they've had issues for years. And of course, Dame Dash heard about this, and here's his response.
Man, we need to get this guy out of here on YouTube. Why? What is this you're trying to do? This is a new business model? Because they robbed us the old way, and now there's YouTube? You're going to hire the guy that got convicted of culture robbing, of culture molesting, and let him keep doing it?
So if that's Dame Dash, still calling Lyor a culture vulture, but we expected this, right?
Right, absolutely. I mean, Dame, one thing you got to respect about Dame is that he always stands up for hip-hop culture no matter what.
Do you guys feel like he has a good point here? Or is this just a long-running feud that is what it is?
I think Dame always has great points. It's just how he says them is what gets misinterpreted. He's very passionate, and he's very aggressive with how he says shit. And when you're passionate and you're aggressive, people call you crazy, right? Or they think that you're crazy because they'll just look at how you're presenting it, how it's packaged. They're not gonna look at the underline of how you feel and why you're saying this. So I think Dame has always had great things to say. He just doesn't say them the best.
Yeah, I mean, calling him a culture vulture, they have their issues, like I said, but Lyor has contributed a lot to the culture. Do you think he hasn't?
Yeah, Lyor is hip hop. You know what I mean? But with Dame, I know you seem like you're disagreeing, but Dame has great points. This is the bigger conversation, and I think when Dame usually puts it down, he really personalizes it because he's had experiences in this industry where he felt other people may have stood on the wrong side of the fence when it came to certain issues. But like, where do like, just in a business structure that deals with a culture as sensitive and as personal as hip hop, where do corporate responsibility, revenue, and also just like a responsibility to the community, like what's the line between all of them, right? For Dame, he's always made it seem, at least, that he always prioritizes the culture, the people over the money, but
that's also taking his word for it, right?
No, I'm not criticizing him at all, but is that really business, right? In business, it's all about the bottom line. It's all about the dollar, right? And when I hear Lyor speak, he fucked up, in my opinion. I still don't know why he did that interview, but he fucked up when he said that he would promote and make money off a message that he doesn't even fuck with personally. And of course, Dame capitalized on it by saying, yeah, that's some culture vulture shit, which in the definition of a culture vulture which is usually profiting from a culture that you don't participate and care about the people who are also in, and you literally only care about making money off of it, yeah, right? Again, you're right. The way he says it, man, it reminds me of when this nigga was wilding out. It was a Def Jam. That nigga was running through the office.
Wayno's
Yeah,
time.
it reminded me of that, and I was like, you don't want to sit down and have a conversation with that guy.
Well,
I would love to see him sit down and have a conversation with some of these people who he's had issues with, but who the fuck want to have a conversation when that nigga's like veins popping out of his neck?
Let me tell you this about Dame Dash. I worked for Dame Dash at Rockefeller Records. This is the version of Dame Dash that you see today is the nice Dame Dash. No, listen, I'm not being funny. Like, that's the nice guy version of Dame. Dame was way beyond 10. And, like, I wasn't disagreeing with Lyor being a part of hip-hop because I feel like Lyor has given a lot of great opportunities, right? But in terms of, like what you said, him saying he would profit off of something, etc., that's the part where people say, come on, because whole culture vulture shit, it just goes back to the idea of slavery in a sense, right? Natural resources, people coming and eating off the land and not giving the natives nothing. The thing about what you said about business, you have great points, but we're so consumed, and I talk about hip hop culture, like we're so consumed with like what we gonna get off of it that we never like really try to find ways to really eat off of it forever. Like we talked about dances. How many dances have we fucking made that end up in video games or end up on news channels and people say, oh, well, this kid started it, and it really started in the hood somewhere.
Okay,
so
I'm only asking a question. Is some of that, not all of it, some of that maybe not culture vulture, maybe just not, it's just bad business.
Right.
Yeah,
because there are black executives who do the same thing, right? It's just that like we're aiming at Lyor here. It can't all be on him.
And this is what I was going to piggyback off it, because in that video, right, it was really part of a larger conversation he was having because there was a younger artist with him.
Right.
And the younger artist, I believe, is on 300 Records. And the kid was basically saying, hey, listen, I'm signed here. I can't feed my family. He has like 6 kids. He's like, yo, they won't put my records out and whatever. I'm stuck contractually here.
Right.
Now, Lyor, even though I know he's like the inventor of the 360, I'm pretty sure he's not the only person that when someone says, get me off a label, the other person says, or whatever executive, black or not, or white or not, says, no, nigga, you're in a contract, right?
Yeah.
And the contracts are meant to be followed until otherwise, or let's take it to court. Right. So is that then, like, because the way how Dame tried to phrase it, like, hey, listen, if you were really of the culture, you cared, you wouldn't be doing this to this black kid.
Well, the thing with Dame and Lyor, we all leaving out is that Dame says that Lyor is responsible for the Rockefeller breakup more than anybody else.
That's the thing. Underlying, it's like a personal
It's like a
issue,
personal
which
issue.
makes it
right
forever
What say you?
biased, the argument.
What say you?
I'm sorry?
What say you about that?
I mean, I don't know. Like, when I worked at Rockefeller, I was really a kid, so I didn't know. I was a worker. I was not in those conversations. I was not in those rooms. Like, I wasn't privy to that type of information. And even if I was, I didn't know shit about what they was going through. I thought that shit would last forever. So it does seem like a little bit of underlining personal issues there. But I feel like if they had a conversation, it's a lot of great points that Dame can make, and it's a lot of great points that Lyor can make. It's just, that's never gonna happen.
If you could get Dame calm enough, that would be legendary to see them like
I don't
talk it
think I
out.
would agree with
you know?
with anything.
Yeah.
I think Dame is the person who 100% believes that hip hop culture, because of how it was started and the people's lives it affects the most, he believes that there shouldn't be white executives who are profiting off the black struggle. He 100%, and he says this. He believes that all the people who are contributing to it should be all black executives at the top.
But see, I'm not gonna say that I feel that same exact way, but there's not as many black executives that people would like to believe there is. It's not. I mean, a few years ago they did a billboard. They did a billboard, did a magazine cover, and it was like the top faces of like hip hop or just the music industry. And it wasn't like one black person on it. It might have been only one.
Also, Dame could have stayed in and continued to play a bigger role as a black exec behind the scenes, right? But corporate America is like tough. There's like levels to this. So
See, the thing with
Any
Dame.
disrespect. Hey, hold on, let me make one question. Now, I'll let you go.
Go ahead.
Given what we see of Jay now, completely black business, you know what I mean? Of course, he's really fortunate path for a lot of things that, shit, I mean, we could have never imagined that being done now. I feel like him and Dame, like Dame is just an early version of him, just like untrained. It's like if you're watching The Wire, to give a Wire reference, I don't know if people watch The Wire.
I'm in season 4 again, rewatching.
It's lit.
Yeah.
It's like watching Avon and Sugar Bell. Like Dame is Avon, right?
So funny. He's like, I'm just a gangster.
Even though,
it's literally him.
you know, a lot of things you would think he's a thinker, but his way of handling stuff is Avon.
Exactly.
Like, oh, let's just go air it out.
Stringer's like, we could do this clean and make legit money.
Clean it up, because honestly, like, are they that much different? Jay is 100% with black empowerment.
Temperament changes a lot,
and
though.
I could just say this by personally knowing. The thing about Dame, a lot of moves that you see today is shit that Dame Dash was on then. The thing was Dame's ace in the hole was Jay-Z. That was his leverage. When you look, like we always talk about leveraging. When you lose your leverage, what people feel, I felt like a lot of people was just waiting for the day that they felt like they didn't have to deal with Dame anymore, right? And Dame, all of these different things that's like that's going on today, him and Jay are like, they're polar opposites. But Dame was
In ideology?
In ideology, I say in just business wise, because Dame was
business approach.
Dame was a bigger mouthpiece, and the reason why is because Dame put up his own. They put up their own money. Like, you gotta remember, these dudes come from the street. Him, Jay, and Biggs, they came from the street and they put their bread together and they started something. And that's why they was able to have the type of deals that they had so early on, where one day they would own their masters, and now they own all of their masters because they knew what they was gonna do. They bet on themselves very early on. So without them, a lot of these artists that speak about independence would have no independence if not for a Rockefeller. And a lot of people don't know that. The thing with Dame is everybody looked at him as the hype man or the dancing dude in the video, but they didn't know that he was the brains behind the business, right? Now, I don't know what problems he had with Jay that caused them to all split, but when they did split, people just didn't want to deal with Dame anymore because of his approach. And what I think about Dame is that, like I said, he's very passionate and he's very aggressive, and that shit scares the shit out of corporate people.
But the question I asked you was, in terms of what they wanted to see.
What they wanted.
Yeah, to see Jay with all this like black empowerment, black business, black, like all that black excellence shit he doing.
Yeah.
That's essentially what Dame really wanted to. His approach is just way different, and how he gets to it is way different.
Well, I mean, you ever seen Casino, the movie? No, the reason I'm saying is because it's a Jay-Z line when he talked about leaving Dame in them. He said you should have stayed in food and beverage. Too much flossing, too much Sam Rothstein, right? Sam Rothstein was the guy that was running the casino, staying quiet. They was getting all the money. As soon as he started losing his licenses, he went and got a TV show. He got loud, and that's what caused the whole breakup. That's kind of what he alluded to with Dame. Once Dame started getting more from behind the camera, in front of the camera, it kind of changed the narrative of their relationship, right? And I think that they always wanted the same things. They just started going in different directions as they grew.
Your temperament affects a lot in business. But you have to be easy to deal with. It's not about just being smart and having ideas. That's a fact. So
That's
like,
a fact.
Dame can still affect change, but it's just like, you got to keep yourself under control to do that. Let's get
And
to
is
some...
Lyor and Dame gonna box, man?
Nobody want no smoke with that. Dame
Cut it
box
out.
for real, like, yo.
Cut it out. So let's get to a couple quick hits. Well, Ak, you know this since you were in the club with them this
Not
weekend.
that
But
close.
producer Blanco hinted that a 50 and 6ix9ine collab with Uncle Murda, Get the Strap, might be on the way, and it might appear in Power. This is just them in the clubs. Check it out. All right, so this is coming off. There's so much going on here, but coming off Fifi with Nicki, which is a big look for both of them. If he has a dope record with 50, what does this mean for 6ix9ine? Because we're always talking about the drama he's going through, but like how...
Wait. Okay, are we assuming, like we just talked about #2 songs about to be #2 in the country, and we're talking about this possible track. I don't know if it was gonna be that. I think it would be dope. Again, first of all, 50 embraces 6ix9ine like a son, but we have
Like a
seen...
son.
No, really, but we have seen 50 embrace a lot of new guys like
loves
Sons,
him, yeah.
Keith, Soulja Boy. We've seen this before. I think that Power being... This just shows how smart 50 is.
Of course.
50 aligns himself in his way near the heat. Sometimes he isolates himself from the heat, right? Like where he just goes against them. But in a situation like this, yeah, his friendship or mentorship with 6ix9ine, and him probably showing 6ix9ine some things that 6ix9ine have not seen. Also, 50 could benefit from one of the hottest artists, giving a song for a soundtrack on Power. So it works out in both of their favors. You know what I mean? Like 50 also going around promoting the champagne. 6ix9ine is going with them. It's a good look. When
does the song even have
artist,
to be good for it to be beneficial? Does it just have to be
I don't
aight?
think-
It just needs to be
aight.
out and be aight and loud.
Yeah.
What I learned about 6ix9ine is that like his shock value is insane. Like, cause Fifi, I ain't gonna like Fifi is not in terms of music, right? Like in terms of music, is it the greatest song you ever heard? No, it's a good song. Like it's not trash. It's a good song.
You tell me that when you heard "Pussy Got That Wet, got that drip, got that super." That you didn't feel that?
Shut up, man.
Yo, what
Stop.
I'm saying is, wait, finish your thought, and I got a question.
Yo, I mean,
You feel that?
shut up.
I felt it.
You felt that? Okay, I'm happy that you felt that. Like when you feel Drake's voice, right?
Oh, man.
But
an Astro.
the funniest thing I got out of this video is like, cause 50 has always said he doesn't drink and he doesn't smoke, and it just looks so funny. 50 drinking champagne in the club. You're not used to seeing that. But the record doesn't have to be like this amazing record. A record with 50, well, just Uncle Murder and 6ix9ine on it.
record.
It's gonna be a lot of gun references. It's gonna be very loud.
It's just like when Kendrick popped up on the Rich the Kid track, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, that's like a big feature for you." People started thinking about it different. I just feel like we always talk about the antics, but he comes with the Nicki feature. If he gets 50, if he gets one more big one, are we thinking about or looking at him a little differently? Not you, I guess, because you're
No,
friends.
even
Sorry
though
to
I
ask you.
think 6ix9ine.
Ace Boone, come on.
But anyway, no. Let me say this though, because I did meet 50 in the club yesterday. Hey. Hopefully, in terms of mentorship, and they've been going around like hitting the clubs and all that. I hope he looks at how 50's career has spanned 15 years, and he's put out timeless music that even now, I'm not gonna lie, I seen some chicks run up to 50. I was like, yo, how are you in this club? Like, you know what I mean? But it's like a testament to say, yo, 50 has been here. He'll go nowhere just because of that catalog and because of the music he put in. He's not here and people still love him that way because of like an antic he did. It's about the music actually lasting for 15 years.
Yeah, I mean 50 is a fucking icon, though. Like he's one of the 50 is one of the GOATs. Like, you know how people say a GOAT, and GOAT stands for greatest of all time? He's one of them. Like, he's definitely one of them. But this shit with him and 6ix9ine is just funny because I feel like he's really giving him the game on, like, yo, listen, this is what you gonna do. This is what you got to do with these motherfuckers, da-da-da-da.
Meanwhile, the kids are going to come watch me on Instagram.
Exactly.
So funny, man.
50 ain't no fool. He know exactly what
By
he's
the way,
doing.
also salute to Tony Ayo. When I saw Tony Ayo, all I could see was loyalty. Like, listen, I need a nigga to hold me down for like how Yayo holds down 50.
Hey, man.
100%, bruh.
Salute the Yayo.
Oh man. All right, so two more feel-good stories. So this happened, I think, like a week ago, but I just thought it was pretty great. So a woman was talking about her husband passed away recently. She's been struggling, trying to keep up with bills. Someone got her a gift card to Whole Foods, so she's shopping. Her stuff gets mixed up with Ludacris's, and he basically buys her groceries, and this like made her whole life act. Do you think you could read this quote for me? So she wrote a long Facebook post explaining how it went, but this is my favorite part of it. Can you read it?
Can I read it?
Come on.
I stared wide-eyed at this handsome young African-American man. This stranger, you set me up. This stranger, as if he just dropped through the ceiling like a black James Bond, like a Batman, like the Black Panther. Then I started to cry.
Oh man.
Is this lady Caucasian?
Yeah, she is, but I love this, man.
She gotta be a school
this
teacher,
really
that's
made her day. Like, have you guys ever done just a good deed for someone? This is
Yeah,
probably what they tell
yo.
their friends about you. They call you the Black Panther act
Nah,
when you're not looking.
I ain't gonna lie. I've paid for somebody's shit before, but that's only because I was trying to get out of there faster.
Don't tell them that. That's like really besides the point.
No.
Nah, but this is dope. This is very dope.
This was great. Like, I'm not gonna lie, shit like this does kind of restore your faith in humanity. Nowadays, I be thinking people be on so much bullshit that even if I was gonna do some shit like this, I'm like, yeah, they probably just give me a sob story and I help them out, and then I'm about to realize that, yo, they just like finessed me. Like I have so little faith in humanity. Shit like this, and clearly by her post just showing appreciation, she really appreciated it and also probably needed it.
Yeah.
So salute to Ludacris, and of course salute to her for showing appreciation. Too often nowadays, I think shit like this goes underappreciated.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. That was really dope. I mean, sometimes like your good deeds, you don't know who you may help, because he probably didn't know nothing
About
of
what
course
she
he knew
was
nothing
going
of what she
through,
was
yeah.
going
And by the way, I don't think that nigga wrote a fucking Facebook post thanking me, but I did some good deeds. I gave a nigga a parking spot when I was clearly there.
All right, academics.
I don't got money like
yeah,
Ludacris. I
let's
can't
get
buy
out of
everybody
here, man.
groceries.
You could afford to buy someone some groceries one time at Whole
Do a
Foods.
good deed.
Hold on, how much is
one good deed per day.
Hold on, and that's another thing. Because if Ludacris would be like, all right, yeah, I'll pay for your shit, and she'd be like, oh, wait, I got to run to go get some more shit. Nah.
That's where you
cut
draw
off.
the line. It's only right here. You put the little stick. Only what you got so far. And finally, can we pull up the Maury tweet? Like, I don't know what's happening here. Why are you and Maury friends, Academics? You need to cut it out. You're being too much on the weekends.
Right.
So here's Maury, Academics. I'm kicking off my 21st season in September. Let's collaborate this year. You're only 21 once, and you're dumbass talking about let's do it. What are you going to do with Maury?
Let's find out. Hey, first of all, man, let's not act like Maury ain't hip-hop low-key. No. Some of the best dances in history has came from the Maury set when somebody found out you're not the father. Tell me I'm not. Tell me I'm not.
Listen, Maury, let me tell you something,
And
man.
some of the best goddamn like runners in history have came off that set too when they got told, yeah, that nigga's not the
I
father.
can't
Try
stand you,
again.
yo.
Maury, I used
They
to
all
cut-
run to the
I used to
back.
cut school. It's just amazing to see that he's doing this shit this long, because I used to cut school to watch Maury some days. Like, I ain't
True.
gonna front.
Is your mom going to be proud of you if she sees you on this show?
My grandma would definitely be proud.
Oh, it's gonna be lit.
If I get on here, Jerry Springer is lit. Jerry still on?
Hell yeah, he's still on.
Well, it would be great to see like maybe TV culture.
Jerry is
merge.
hip hop. Jerry's like out in the streets. I see him at like in the streets.
Jerry he's like the master of sneak dissing. He'll sneak diss you with a compliment. He's like, oh shit, wait.
All right, y'all, stay tuned. Academics and Maury, the collaboration no one ever wanted.
Yeah, we never knew that was coming.
Anything else to add?
We might have to bring a couple of these rappers' baby moms on the show, man. I'm just saying.
Man.
Just saying, man. We
You will
gonna
see
figure
none
out-
of this featured here at Everyday Struggle,
Aight.
not as long as I'm alive. Everybody,
After we get a viral moment, and be like, yo, did you see Academics freaking out?
guys,
Crazy.
enjoy your day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Rest in peace to the brother C. Struggs, a artist from Dallas. He passed away. He lost his battle to cancer. You know, everybody's affected by cancer. Watch how you eat. Watch what you consume. I just wanted to say rest in peace to C. Struggs.
R.I.P.
Absolutely.
Our condolences. See you guys tomorrow.
Peace.